Okay, welcome to the Charter Review Board meeting on Wednesday, March 1st, 2018 at 6:25.
I don't think we're on the air.
Mr. Q, are we on the air?
I don't think we're in the
Ahora.
We are now? Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor, could you repeat your opening?
Okay. So welcome to the Charter Review Board. Today is Wednesday, of the City of West Miami. Today, Wednesday, March 21st, 2018. Let's see, for the Pledge of Allegiance, let's rise, turn to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Mayor Eduardo Mujiña,
Present.
Vice Mayor Candida Blanca.
Yes.
Commissioner Juan Blanes.
Present.
Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez.
Present.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez is excused. Member Joe Paz.
Present.
Member Natalie Milian.
Present.
Member Ralph Orell.
Present.
Member Antonia Chavez is excused. Member Eric Diaz-Padrón is excused, not present. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 3, citizen presentations. No presentations, Mr. Mayor.
Item 4.
Item 4, approval of minutes of February 7, 2018 Charter Review Board meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Item 5.
All business? None.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
point of privilege.
Yes, sir.
I would like to bring something up that I've been mulling over, whether I should bring it up or not. And it has to do with something that was discussed previously. And I believe that, I think it was already settled and voted upon, but I think that we should reconsider.
Okay.
For anybody
Is it?
has
So
any,
I guess this is not line. It's not in the agenda.
no, it's not.
Okay. All right.
No, no.
Go ahead.
So, before there's any assumptions, I would just like to say that, this is an issue that is very antiquated, is not fair, it's not right. It's been brought up in the past, but it has not been, agreed upon and voted on in the affirmative. So I'm hoping that maybe, hopefully, we can entertain having one more meeting to discuss this item. And the item is compensation to the mayor and the commission. As it is now, the mayor and the commission, they're compensated $20 a meeting. And what is it, $20 a meeting?
Yes.
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 Right, yeah, that's, I, for one, I've been serving here in this city for a long time, 16, 17 years, and I've never asked for any money. I think, and you know what, that fits the same category as the others sitting on that commission. We do this out of the willingness of our heart and our passion for this city. But, as Helen Keller said once, the worst thing than having sight. What the heck did she say? Oh yeah, it'll come to me now. She said that the worst thing of having sight, having no sight is having sight but no vision. And this is something that is really antiquated. We got to think about others that are going to come after us. The new blood of elected officials of the city of West Miami. And, I think that, we should reconsider this and changing the charter in such a way where the mayor and the city commission, by resolution, can vote whether to increase that amount or nullify it. Right now it's $20, but, if the commission sees fit, maybe raise it up to 50, maybe raise it up to 100, or whatever, or 0 for that matter. But I think that this would be something that the commission should have as a tool that they can use. You know, this is something that's been there from the very, very onset, and you know, I for one, I don't need the money. I'm happy, you know, in my position financially. I'm blessed. So, but you know, others, you know, that might want to serve, you know, at one time or another, this might be something that would be beneficial for them. And you know, there's always the old adage, you know, that something for nothing is not, you know, that there should be always some kind of compensation. You know, the Indians, the American Indian had it, you know, whenever an American Indian would give a gift to another Indian, you know, that Indian had to give something back. And that was a great culture. And, you know, I believe the Japanese do it too. They give a gift, there's got to be something done in return. The law of reciprocity, you know, the law. So I think it would be something positive. I think it would be something good. If you all, you know, see it that way, so be it. If not, then, you know, but I think it should be something that it needs to change. And it's high time that it does.
In politics, it works a little different. The more you give, the more they take away from you. I have come to realize that.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Okay. How do we go about, Mr. Attorney, about something like this? Because I wasn't expecting this at all.
And I am sorry, I apologize, but, you know, it's something that I've been just, you know, thinking about, and
Okay.
I don't know if we can
Let me tell you my own personal opinion on it, and then we need to figure out, you know, if we're gonna continue with this or not. But I can tell you, you talk about 16 years or something like that. Well, I'll give you.
we've been,
I've been at it for about 30.
yeah.
Because I served 14 years in the Planning and Zoning Board, and then I've been in the commission since 2002. So I totally agree with you. As a matter of fact, I agree that not only at this level, but also at the county level and all that, anybody that is in that position should be compensated properly, so that way they're accountable for it, instead of, you know, having another job and, you know, doing other things, because, you know, that whatever it is over there, $6,000 is a ridiculous amount of money for what they do. So, but by the same token, you know, just like a job, you know, hold people accountable for it. That's my belief. But unfortunately, what I have seen is the history of it, that every time this comes to the table, not only here, but in other places, it always has to come before the people to vote. And like anything that comes to an election time, I'll give you an example. Do you remember when we had the situation with the solar panels versus FPL and so on? FPL, or FPLs, I'm sure that they spend millions of dollars in, you know, fighting their position, whereas the other people did the same thing. So if this, we go through it, we're successful, and it has to come to a vote, then we have to think about how do we educate the public to convey our message. So I just want to throw that on the table, and how do we overcome that? Again, let me go back to, I'm in total agreement with you, is how do we get there, is I don't want to, because the last time we beat this horse, and so, but with that, Mr. Attorney, is that something?
Maybe the
that
third
we
time's
could
the
take-
charm,
we could take
or
on
the
this
fourth.
meeting?
or the
Don't you have to
fifth.
vote?
If I remember correctly, this was supposed to be our last meeting. So,
Yes, it
do
is.
we prolong it to?
Tiene que ir a nuevo
Since
también.
it's not in the
Because it's
agenda,
not
is it
advertised,
something that
so.
you need to prepare yourself for the next meeting, or is this something that we should listen to everybody and address it this time? So, please guide me here.
The guide is this, I mean, the agenda is prepared by the city clerk.
Okay,
And the reason for preparing an agenda by the city clerk is, number one, is mandated by law, okay? Number two is to promote transparency. In other words, that you tell the people that they're welcome to come. If they don't come, that's their problem, but you have properly advertised this, and this is supposed to be it. But the thing is that if you do not have it in the agenda, it should not be addressed at this point. Now, the proposal by Commissioner Blanes is to extend the Charter Review Board and to have it on another time. Am I correct?
Yes, and I want to make something clear. What I said about Helen Keller, she said that the worst thing about not having sight was having sight but no vision. Did I say that right?
It's better to have no sight than sight but no vision.
No. The worst thing than not having sight is having sight but no vision.
Right.
So that's what I was alluding to. I don't know if I said it backwards or forwards or.
Wait,
Basically, what is it that we want to amend?
We all got it.
I'm always confused, so
yes.
Are we,
I have my
are we
moments of
able to
clarity.
discuss this?
No, not according to the city attorney,
You what?
Say again?
because it has to be in the agenda, therefore it has to be.
It has to be advertised.
Am I correct, Madam Clerk?
so I think, if I may, first thing that the board and the committee need to agree on is to extend to the possibility to be open or friendly to an additional meeting or
Meeting or meetings?
meetings
Or
to
potentially
tackle
two,
the issue, to hear feedback, I guess, from your colleagues and the Charter Review Board, and see where this concept goes. I think that's the first thing that you would really have to agree on, so that the clerk can place it on the
Well,
agenda, correct?
Number one is, there's two agendas that were published for today. Number one is the charter review, and number two is the commission agenda, correct, Madam Clerk?
Correct.
And so the commission agenda also reads that it's going to receive the recommendation by the charter review board, correct? No? Okay.
At the following meeting, but that was, at the meeting of the first meeting of April.
So we have to amend that too.
If we continue with the meetings, obviously, we're
Right.
not gonna be able to put it
Right.
anytime soon on the agenda.
Because the conclusion of your study or your research or your ideas is presented to the
Before the city
the
commission.
city commission
for
as the ultimate.
And what will be, again, the line since if this goes to ballot in the November? Oh, yeah, more or less?
By the beginning of June, this has to be in the elections department.
Well, hopefully.
The
by the way-
recommendation, the question.
March.
By the way, it's not only being at the election department, but the election department approving it.
Approve it
Correct.
and,
Because if they don't, they have to come back here, excuse me, let me finish, please. And then it would have to go to the commission, and it would have to be reapproved and sent there, so time is short, okay?
I have a question, and maybe Neri or Mr. Villalobos can answer it. Once you have a final document, and I'm just sort of recalling the old days, once you have a final proposal that is gonna come to the commission, do we also have to advertise for a public hearing?
Of course you do.
So you need time to advertise prior to the item coming to the regular city commission agenda as a public hearing item. Then you have to transmit within specific timelines to the elections department. Then they have to communicate with the city clerk and agree or not agree to the language.
If they agree, there's no problem.
Exactly.
If they do not agree,
Then it
it has
comes
to
back.
come back.
it has to
Exactly.
come back and to have it advertised. So you all decide, because time has become shorter and shorter. And, you know, I just want to warn you that
Okay.
this is something that might impact on the ability to be in the November ballot.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'm not going to discuss agenda nor the topic, because I know we can't, because it's not on the agenda. But I just want to be sure that we're following proper procedure, because this has been voted on and discussed a multitude of times, if my memory serves me correct. So for something to be brought back after it's been voted on and discussed at length, isn't there a procedure as to how that should be done, either by the prevailing side? I know in a commission meeting, there's a certain procedure has to be followed. So I just want to be sure that we are following proper procedure, irregardless of agenda and topic. This is just procedural. I just want to be sure that we're doing the right thing if this comes back, because it's been voted on and discussed at more than one meeting, if my memory serves me correct. So I'm just, want to be sure we're following proper procedure, is my only concern.
I don't have the answer
I
to
know,
that.
nor do I.
And may I add that this has not only been discussed at this meeting multiple times, but it's been discussed at other convening charter review board meetings,
Yes.
multiple and multiple and multiple times. So this is
Correct.
something that's been beat like a dead horse, and you know what? Maybe we can beat it one more time, I don't know. If, again, you're correct, Madam Commissioner,
I
and,
just,
and we're able to,
And the time,
and the time.
Yeah,
How
how long do
you
they
bring it
take
back?
at the county to approve the recommendations?
The language, usually when it's submitted to the elections department, it goes through a review, not only of the language and the way it's presented, but by the actual question and how it's asked. And usually they get back to us within a week or so, and with the response, and then if everything is okay, we just they initiate the ballot process. Last time, what it happened, if my memory doesn't fail me, we had problems with the way the question was asked, the wording, and we had to rephrase the question and the number of words, and it took us like 15 days or more to.
If you remember
process the whole
correctly,
thing.
it was a question whether we should put a
And-
question sign.
Question signs were,
A question sign, just a question sign, talk about their study and their return here, and we have to return. One question sign was the issue, correct, Madam Clerk?
you're
Okay.
correct.
Whether or not we should use a question sign was the issue, okay?
And
Okay.
another, I'm sorry,
Look,
go ahead.
Natalie wanted to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I had a question.
Yes.
How is this going to be placed on the next agenda? How is it going to be advertised? Is
I'm going to read it to you, I have
Okay.
I have a
Because we haven't
proposed,
really discussed
if
what
you
we
want to
want
read,
to discuss about the issue.
You're right.
Yeah.
if you want to, first of all, you have a package we
Yeah.
we submitted to you, okay? This is not in the agenda, but if you want to, I'll read this portion to you now. You want to help me, Madam Clerk? No, she's talking about,
This is the resolution, but the way, your question is how we gonna present or address this issue that was proposed by Mr. Blanes, how we gonna,
Introduce
consider
it.
again, introduce it again, reintroduce it in our meeting next meeting. If this board decides to bring it back and for discussion
well,
and consideration.
number one, I have to be told exactly what is it that you want.
Right.
Because I don't want to go through the entire charter again.
Wouldn't it be considered under new business though? Because
I'm sorry?
wouldn't it be considered under new business as something that we could bring up at this meeting?
Yes, but the problem is that if you do new business, that will be after your vote today. You see, last time we said that last time was the last time that we were gonna have it, and I was going to bring back to you today the final wording for that to go to the commission.
Okay.
Well, now I'm told that you want to reconsider, no?
Yes,
Okay.
So we have to vote on a new meeting and then discuss the new business?
First of all, you all voted that the last time was the last time, okay? So you have to
That
say,
this was the last.
we reconsider that,
Okay.
and say that we want another meeting. Now,
Okay,
but you have to tell me exactly what is it that you want.
So should we have a motion to,
Exactly,
Extend.
exactly. Mr. Attorney, we're discussing, I mean, a lot for something that's not in the agenda. So why don't we do the following? First, let's get a consensus, you know, all in favor of bringing this item, and then we'll deal with the details. All in favor to bringing this item back, say aye.
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 And that'll be to reconsider section
How many ayes?
304.
Everybody, or?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so I have,
Unanimous.
okay, no?
I got a
Commissioner?
no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because he didn't call who's.
Commissioner Rodriguez? How do you vote?
Nay.
The ayes have it.
And is to reconsider
What section of the charter do you
section
want me to
304,
reconsider?
304 compensation and expenses.
Okay, so you have
Wait
to,
wait a minute. Let me get clear. What is it that we're going to reconsider?
Yes, they are voting to bring this item back for
Which item?
consideration. 304
compensation. So,
But that has 3 paragraphs. Which paragraph is it that you want? You want all 3 paragraphs to come back?
where is it?
Commissioner, you're talking about
No.
the first?
You know, what I'm alluding to is for the mayor and the commission of the city of West Miami to have the ability by resolution to be able to change the compensation of the attendance of the meetings. Right now it's $20 a meeting.
Per meeting.
Okay, you know, it could be 50, it could be 75, it could be 100, or it could be nothing if that is the wish of the commission. But right now, the commission can't do that. And I believe that looking forward, looking in the future, you know, when other people are gonna be sitting there under different circumstances and under different times, we will probably be, you know, gone. Maybe we'll be at the center next door, you know, playing with,
Bingo.
you know, macaroni or something like that. But, you know, and with the needle and the,
Guys, we only have 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay.
You did it already, aren't you?
to keep the
Let's get
spatial,
to it.
to keep the spatial abilities working. So, you know, you know, this is thinking forward, you know. I mean, there could actually come the time where you have some really good quality people, okay, and maybe they, you know, financially are not necessarily in the position like us, that we serve and we don't have any compensation. But times
May I make a
change.
suggestion, please? Why don't you let me read the paragraphs, and you tell me which paragraph you want to change, okay?
I'm not sure.
It's the first
I-
one.
it's the first
The
one.
Well,
first one is the
Is
attendance
it
to $20.
attendance or the non-accountable expense
The
account?
$100 is the
Whatever,
second.
whatever,
second
Mr.
item.
Attorney, you deem more expedient.
No, wait a
Should
minute.
not be
Not me, you. Not me.
But
You
you're
got
the,
it.
you're the legal expert.
No, but you are the policymakers. I don't determine that. Let me read this to you, please, okay? Members of the city council shall receive a compensation in the amount of $20 per meeting on attendance until such is changed by the council in accordance to the provision of this charter, okay? Members of the council may be excused with compensation for no more than 2 meetings during each year of the term in office of the council shall not receive compensation for attendance to no more than 30 meetings during the fiscal year. Now, what I understand for you to say is that you want to change the compensation of attendance to meetings. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the second paragraph reads, the council may determine the annual salary of the council member by ordinance. Okay? But increasing such salary shall become effective until the next commencement of the term of the council members at the next regular election. In other words, if you approve it by ordinance today, it will not take effect until the following election 2 years from now. That's number one. Number two, you have to take it out to the people, for the people to approve it, because before that ordinance is legal, provided that such election follows be adopted by such ordinance by at least 6 months, and such ordinance approved by the majority of the electors. In other words, you have to take it out. Number one, pass an ordinance. Number two, take that ordinance to the people in a referendum, and it cannot take effect 2 years from then, not from now. In other words, for 4 years, okay? And the third paragraph, it's already being amended
To the next
today.
election.
You already approved to amend the third paragraph, okay? So again, members of the council shall receive compensation in the amount of $20 per meeting on attendance until such exchange by the county in accordance to the provision of this charter. It does not say by resolution, guys. In the provision of this charter, it means to me that it should go out to, as an ordinance. It doesn't say resolution anywhere here. Okay, so you want me to work on paragraph 1, I'm sorry, in the $20 of paragraph 1. Is that what you're talking about? I'm sorry?
And I think the last one is,
And that last part too.
Simple, stupid.
you know, I think you know, as simple as possible, you know, not changing the whole structure of it, just having, you know, having the mayor and the commissioners of the city of West Miami, you know, the power by resolution to be able to increase or decrease the amount of compensation per attendance.
But even if you do a resolution, it has to go out to vote.
Oh, it does?
That's, yes,
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Resolution and ordinance. both.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, according to the charter.
Well, right now, we don't have it.
Don't have what?
So, right now, we can't do it.
Right now, you cannot do it.
Okay, well, point is to change that.
I just want to clarify that.
To change, to propose that change to the electorate.
Correct.
No, that's, no.
No.
No, that's
We're
not,
not there yet.
that's not what you said.
Give the council the authority to do it by resolution,
Right.
however, it still needs to go to the electorate.
But the first step would be
Is
to
to,
take it to
right,
the electorate.
Right.
Right.
So the
Okay,
first
so,
step is for this board
Yes.
to decide that it wants
Exactly.
to be
Correct,
done.
right, yeah,
That's the first
yeah.
step.
That's if the board agrees to it.
Then it goes to the council, then it goes to
We
the
have to approve
council
it.
commission.
Second step,
And then it goes to
Then
the
it goes to the
electorate.
elect, exactly.
and then the third step has to go to a vote, correct?
No, he's saying it won't be effective for you.
It could
I
be
think-
2
I think-
years, not 4 years.
Every 2
What
years.
do you
So,
want?
You don't have to wait for
I
this,
think what
for it
what
to
we're
happen.
trying
The
to do
elections is every
is
2 years.
Every
to
election
open up the
cycle.
discussion on
I
the
cannot
first,
understand,
on the first and second paragraph of section 3.04 at the next meeting. I think.
First paragraph.
First and second paragraph. So those are the two that contain the,
No, wait a minute. You're talking about salary as well?
that's what
That's
he's
all
talking
we're talking about.
That's all he's talking about.
He's only talking about the $20 per meeting. He's talking about this. He's not talking about this.
But I think,
If
no,
not-
I think he is, because he's talking about
He
doing
said
it by resolution. and that's what
resolution,
this
so that
talks
contains
about.
the second paragraph.
Let's
yeah.
be sure. Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Are you only talking about the $20 per meeting?
Or compensation in general.
He mentioned the $20.
He mentioned the 20, that's the only thing that I heard him say was the $20 per meeting.
It doesn't reference the non-accountable
correct.
expense.
One at a
Correct.
time, please, so we have a readable and understandable record.
Okay.
So everybody
think-
understands it, please.
I think that if this has to go to the resident, to the residents to vote on, I think, you know, keeping it as simple as possible and not, you know, injecting the question with too much information, would be maybe beneficial for this cause. And I
I'm
think.
sorry, Mr. Commissioner, I have to stop you. It's illegal for you not to tell the people exactly what you want.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I am not alluding to that at all.
Well, that's what I understood you to say.
No, I said, you know, only one, I'm alluding to, there's two types of compensation. Let's just do it to one, keeping it very simple.
That's what Mr. Villalobos said. Is it paragraph 1, or is it paragraph 1 and 2, or is it paragraph 1, 2, and 3, correct?
3
I've
is
opened up a
already
can of worms
approved
here.
by you guys.
Exactly.
You know, you want to revisit that again?
You know what?
It's in the, it's in the packet today. I mean, read it,
I'll hang myself.
please. What you're saying is that you see, the first paragraph had two sentences. Number one, it says, shall receive $20. And then the second one, it says, you shall not receive $20 more than 30 times. So there's two sections in the first paragraph. You want me to change the first sentence of the $20? Yes or no?
That is what I would like to see done.
Okay, fine. So the only thing that is going to be heard next week or the week after, whenever you say, is sentence number 1 in paragraph 1. Yes, ma'am.
In an abundance of caution, should we say that we're going to reconsider section 3.04, just in case something else in that section comes up that we want to discuss, and then we're stuck just on that sentence?
You're talking about the question is going to go to the ballot?
Well, the commissioner wants to talk about the compensation. Compensation is in section 3.04, so to not gridlock ourselves, shouldn't we advertise that we're going to discuss section 3.04?
But let
Would
me
that
ask you
be
this. Are you,
wise to do?
the first thing that you have to do if you're going to redo the whole section 3.04 is go back and say what we already approved, which is third paragraph, we're not going to have it
Not
again,
touching that.
and we're going to reconsider it again.
Well, we could say, just like she said, just in case, we could say we're gonna revisit 3.04. Ultimately, we could say, leave paragraph 3 the way that it is, and,
Yeah.
we don't have to touch
Because
that
if
one.
it ends up
But just
being
in case,
that what we want to change is in paragraph 2 and not in paragraph 1, then
Correct.
we run into the issue again where we have to re-advertise the meeting.
Let me tell you, okay, I'm going to say this is going to be your motion for today, okay? Now, let me caution you, I cannot make it as simple as possible, okay? I cannot because I only have 75 words per statute. So when we read, let's read paragraph 2, okay? There are several components of paragraph 2. The council may determine the annual salary by the council member by ordinance. That's number 1. That's issue number 1, okay? But no ordinance increase such salary shall become effective until the commencement of the terms of the council members elected at the next regular election. So that's second component. Cannot be considered for now. It has to be for the following election. Provided that such election follows the adoption of such ordinance, at least 6 months. So that's component number 3. You have to pass, the commission has to pass an ordinance, okay? And such ordinance have to be approved by the majority of the electorate. So that's component number 4. The ordinance have to be approved by the electorate, okay? So there's several things there that whenever this was drafted in such a manner that it's a package that was sold to the people. Because what it tries to do is to avoid commissioners to vote themselves a raise. Okay? So out of that, there's no way that I can craft a simple language with 75 words. Okay? Have to be bifurcated or something. But I'm just warning you that this is what we have to do, okay? Now, the third paragraph, you already voted for, and over abundance of caution, you want to do it again, I don't care. The best thing that could happen to, say personally, is for that to go to the people, and that's it. But I mean, for me to craft something which is simple, but at the same time, try to address everything, I don't know how to do it because there's no way that we could say all of that in 75 words. And that's not me, that's by statute. Am I correct, Madam Clerk?
You're correct.
Okay, and the heading is only 15 words. So I have to say we're changing 4 things in 15 words. I don't, you know. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Attorney, I'm afraid we're setting precedent here. What's going to stop anyone from the next meeting saying, well, I want to rediscuss, I want to open up something we've already voted on, just because?
Nothing.
I think we're setting a precedent here. I don't, again, I'm not sure if we are following proper procedure. Because
Well-
nothing will stop me from next meeting saying, well, I wanna go back and rediscuss section 3.07.
Well, that's up
I
to.
don't think anyone will be as capricious as to do that. I brought it up because
Not here,
I've
not
been-
this
Wait, wait,
board,
wait,
but
wait,
Mr.
wait.
Blas, what
Mr.
about
Blas,
future
let her
boards?
finish
What
the-
about future boards? I know, not here, but we're talking about, you're talking about doing this for future.
If there is conviction,
If we're setting a
if,
precedent
if
here.
there's conviction and and if there's truth and there's integrity and if it's something that is gonna be better for the future of the city, so be it, yes. Yes,
believe
now,
we're opening up a can of
now,
worms.
now, if you have a bunch of individuals that are sitting here and have another agenda, and they're trying to benefit themselves, or they're trying to find an agenda to benefit others and not the city, then you know what, then you're absolutely right.
And we don't have any
We-
guarantee that won't happen.
Well, you know
We
what?
set precedent here today.
You have
I
a
think-
poor hope of the future then.
I just think we
Um,
have to be sure we're following proper procedure, and that this
Well,
can
that's
be
why we
done.
have an attorney.
If I may,
Proper procedure is what the board wants to do. This is the issue. You see, if somebody comes out and say, well, I want to revisit this, there's a whole bunch of rules. So there are rules that the county follows, and there's Robert's rule and everything else. But ultimately, it's for you to say yea or nay. You know, it's for you to do it. And it's not for
Well-
me to interpret it.
I brought it up to the table, and that's all I can do. If you all want to reject it by majority, so be it. If you want to advance it by majority, then so be it. I'm good either way. I just think that the city, the mayor and the commissioners of the city of West Miami would be better off in the future of having this ability to cause compensation of it. And that's my opinion. That's,
Okay, go ahead, and then I'm gonna say one thing, and we're gonna move forward.
yes, I would like to, with all due respect to Commissioner
no,
Blanes.
speak out. You haven't said anything all night, so.
I would urge this board to
I've been doing all the
reconsider
talking.
the vote to extend the charter review meetings and hear this discussion. I totally agree that the commissioners are vastly undercompensated. However, in past elections, it never was approved by the electorate, and I think if we extend this meeting and continue the compensation issue, it's just going to bring a lot of undue pressure to city staff in trying to get this through the county and before the November election. So I would urge the commission, this commission to reconsider, or this board to reconsider and stick to the agenda that we got, and let's get this, what we have now, approved so that city staff can continue the process to make sure that it does get placed on the November election. But that's just my opinion.
When is the next charter review, if I may ask? It's every 4 years, right? Every 4 years.
Is that every 2 years? No?
No, every
Every
4
4
years.
years.
Last charter amendments were proposed on 2014.
Okay. As I understand it, let me cut this short.
Yes.
As I understand it, you want to revisit section 3404 in its entirety.
Well, no, what's on the table right now is to reconsider.
Is to
that.
reconsider.
Yeah, so,
So let's,
Consider what?
To have another meeting.
let's do it or get off the pot.
What?
didn't you heard what Mr. Paz said?
Just-
I'm
And
sorry,
so-
Mr.
So we got
Paz.
it, okay.
Before voting though, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but before voting, how many meetings can we have in April?
How many K?
Meetings, charter review board meetings can we have in April? Because if what it takes is maybe like throwing in an extra meeting in there, so, you know, to be able to discuss it and still get everything done on time, basically. Like, if we present it at the end of April or beginning of May, and the county takes a week to get it back to us, if an amendment needs to be made after that, like, just so that we do have enough time. I agree that it's important. I agree that it should be revisited. However, do we have the time to do it, or rather, can we make time to do it?
Okay, all right. Hi there. We're gonna move forward. I'm the chair, right? Okay, so we're gonna move forward.
Yes,
let
you
me-
are.
So,
Mr. Mayor, please.
yes,
Mr. Mayor, so I don't want to reinvent the wheel, okay? I don't want to work on something that is already worked on and approved. I just want you to tell me, okay, whether one paragraph that you agree upon, whether you want to revisit that so I don't have to redraft it again. Because if I redraft it again and you don't agree, then we need another another meeting. So let me read what you have already agreed upon, and if you don't like it, you just tell me so I work it out again, okay?
okay, but let me interrupt you for a moment. We supposedly, we don't even supposed to discuss this because it's not in the agenda.
Right.
So, I'm just,
Should we vote on what he said?
and I know what you're saying, you want clear direction, and I understand. If I was in his shoes, I
And a
would want
vote
clear
was
direction.
taken.
Yeah, we
Consider
took a
it.
vote already to consider this.
Yeah.
Doesn't that suffice?
Yeah,
To carry on to
and
the
I
next
think
meeting?
the vote was to,
Extend
even
it.
the
To
one that was
extend it, yeah.
approved
To redo it?
So I believe that the verbiage
All
should
items.
state for
One
the
through
next
four.
agenda, all items on 3.04.
Right,
Okay?
Done, right?
because we,
The motion by, or the recommendation by member Pass just
Dies.
died.
sorry, but that,
Okay, yes. All right, so
Well
let's
said,
move
though. Well
forward.
said.
Now, on that vote, what I will kindly suggest is, let's keep it to a maximum. We have to come to some conclusion in 2 meetings, no more than 2 meetings, because then, you know, we already moved this forward, we didn't take it in the last election, and now we looking at November. Well, if you keep on going, we're not looking at November. So let's make it in 2 meetings. Let's set our mind to it, and whatever it is in 2 meetings, we have to make a decision.
I wanted to clarify that even though I said section 3.04, I did not mean to redraft the third paragraph of section 3.04. I want to put that on the record. I did not mean that.
I understood that
I mean
very well,
paragraph 1 and 2 is
That's
the
what
one
you
that we
said.
have been discussing, but
but they're
in
related.
an abundance of caution, just to not close ourselves off, that's why I said section 3.04.
And I totally agree.
yeah.
Okay.
And last meeting, we were told, look at the charter, read it one more time. If
Yeah.
there's anything else in there that you think we should talk about again, let's talk about it again. So I don't know if that opens us up in this meeting to be able to do that or not, but I'm just saying that was said. So, you know, I don't think Commissioner Blanes was out of line at all in bringing it up because
No,
it's kind of like
Well,
what we were instructed to do.
Madam Manager.
It's okay,
in
it's
lieu
7,
of, the chair,
yes.
Madam Manager, would you repeat again something that you said in the last meeting?
Yes, I will repeat it. In order to expedite the conclusion of the process of the Charter Review Board, we recommended that you entertain any ideas via email addressed to the city clerk so that Mr. Villalobos could have the information and be
Have
ready
And have
Sir?
time to include it and.
Have time?
and have time to prepare the correct verbiage. The language here is critical, and I propose this only because there was a longer span of time between the last meeting and the scheduled meeting for this evening. Now, we're getting closer to our real timeline, and that's why I said on the onset, and you'll recall, we're
Yes, you
never
did.
gonna make the April agenda. I know this, I've sat through too many of these meetings to tell you these things happen, and you go home and you sort of rehash what you've done, and you wanna bring something back that's been haunting you, and so time is of the essence. So, I think it would be proper for me to convey again a recommendation that was made. If you want specifics, so that Mr. Villalobos can be ready, is entertaining new suggestions, because you all have agreed by majority vote to extend and/or continue your charter proceedings and added an additional meeting for now, is submit your ideas or your suggestions in writing to the city attorney through the city clerk, so that they can have time to prepare for this. Our next meeting is April 4th.
is that it? April 1st?
4th is our next regular city commission meeting. What we've tried to do is set these meetings the same day of commission, because we're kind of guaranteed of having a quorum, at least from a commission perspective and their calendars and
And keep in mind that we have four meetings.
exactly.
Because we have a
Induction
determination
ceremony.
by law, is a
Right.
special meeting of the
Right.
office of the vice
Right.
mayor. We have the induction, so we have like four meetings already
Right,
in April, the month of April.
right.
And respectfully, let me make a suggestion for you all to consider. People think about what you want, okay? And if you, by vote, approve something, let's just not go ahead and revisit it again, because this will be endless. And you will
We're
not
not gonna
make
make it
the November election, okay?
That's why I said, two meetings max.
Okay.
Okay, so since we're gonna contemplate another item, I don't think we should move on to the meeting. So I think we need to adjourn and set the dates for the next two meetings, and that will be the day of commission. And that will be April 4th, and the next one,
April
April
18th, I'm
The
sorry.
regular meeting, April 18th.
I think I would call some contention.
April 4th at 6 o'clock.
Please pose your questions, ideas, or suggestions in writing prior to these meetings with at least a week's time. Within the next week, please submit it to Aneri so she can convey those to Mr. Villalobos. I mean, you don't have to send it to me or anything. I'm sure it will be kept abreast, but we're trying to now narrow the timeline so that we can be prepared to present to the commission your final recommendations. Mr. Villalobos has to work on the language, which is very specific and guided by statute,
Yes,
and
madam.
submit to the elections
Yes.
department.
okay, so the 2 days are April 4th
Yes, madam.
and April 18th at 6 p.m. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
We have to make this table out and everything, like, we allow it.
Go to the order. Anything for the go to the order? Not go to the order. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Get off.